Hey, hi guys, what's going on? So, you know what? This video thing, this is kind of fun, but it's not as good as being in person. I'm ready to see everybody again, and hopefully we're getting closer to that. But in the meantime, we'll do what we can. I just wanted to share just a thought from a couple of verses with you. I was driving down the road the other day and I made this little observation. It's not it's an easy observation because I went over a bridge and there was a sign. And there's a sign on almost every state highway bridge that has a weight rating for that bridge. You'll see it. When you drive over, it says maximum rate and it has maximum weight rating, so many tons. And obviously, the point of that is you don't want to put too much weight on that bridge. The bridge might collapse, or it might be damaged, so it'll collapse when the next car, or a couple of weeks later, when a school bus goes over it or something, you don't want the bridge to collapse. So they put weight ratings on it. So in order to establish how much weight the bridge can handle, they have engineers look at it, right? They look at the makeup of the bridge. Is it made out of steel? Is it made out of concrete? Is it made out of, some bridges still have wood? Different weight ratings, different factors what the bridge is made out of. But also, what's its footing? What's it standing on? Is it on, is it sandy soil? Is it rock? Is it lots of different factors? The age of the bridge and the condition of how it's been treated. And is there water close by? A lot of different factors. So engineers have to look at these bridges and they have to look really, really closely. Have to get out and look underneath. Sometimes even use X-rays to check out the strength of welds and lots of different ways that they determine how much weight a bridge can handle. Right? So. Anyway, I'm driving down the road and I saw one of those signs that said maximum weight rating. I don't remember what it was, so many tons. So I went on down and I got to thinking a little bit later how awesome it is that God knows us even better than those engineers know that bridge. There's a verse, let me read this. There's a lot that we can learn from this verse, and there's a lot of depth in this verse, and some things it means and things it doesn't mean. But anyway, let me read this for you. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, and verse 13 says, "No temptation has overtaken you except which is common to man, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape that you may be able to bear it." So Paul's writing to the church of Corinth, and he's talking to them about temptation. He's talking about lots of different specific types of temptation, and so this is just kind of one little glimpse in the middle of a larger conversation. But anyhow, he's talking to them about temptation. He's talking about the relationship with Jesus. He's talking about the relationship with the Lord because he wants them to grow in that relationship, and he reminds them, among all the things that this verse means, he says God knows you so well. He says, God is faithful. He knows that we're going to fall. He knows that we're going to stumble. I mean, that's what happens. We're human, and until we get to heaven, we're going to make mistakes. But he reminds us that God is faithful, for one thing. Even when I fail, even when I stumble, God's still there. He says that. He says, he's talking about temptation. He says God is faithful. That means God's not going to change. Okay? So that's awesome, because when I do stumble, when I do fail, when I do make a mistake, God doesn't change his mind. So, okay, that's it. You're done. No, God's grace doesn't work that way. God is faithful. He has offered us salvation in Jesus. He has offered us his presence, and it's there. God is faithful. And he says that God knows us thoroughly enough to know what things might trip us up. He knows what things, and Paul also reminds us that God doesn't tempt us, but God allows things to come along that test us, but test us in a way that makes us stronger. Test us in ways that confirm us. And he says he's not going to let you be tested beyond what you're able to stand without giving you a way of escape. That's the important part. He's not saying that just things aren't going to come along and we're just be able to handle everything. And no, he's saying that he will provide a way for us of escape. And also, one thing that's really important is to be able to withstand whatever things come along in our lives means we need to be in a relationship with him. If he's not in the picture, then I can't handle anything. I probably can't even walk across the floor without messing that up, without Jesus. This verse reminds us that God knows us so thoroughly. He knows what kind of footing we stand on. Remember Jesus gave that parable about two different guys that built houses, okay? One of them built a house on the sand, and one guy built a house on the solid rock. And the storm came. It's the same kind of storm. Paul says that we're not confronted by anything that's not common to men. I mean, that there's not something specific to us that somebody else has never had to face before. And so the same storm hits these two houses. The one on the sand crumbles away. The one on the rock stands. Jesus says, that's what the person is like who follows my word. If I stand on the words of Christ, I'm like that person standing in that house, standing in the middle of a storm. God knows us so well. There's another verse. Real quick, I won't talk your leg plumb off, but there's another verse that I want to share with you. Do you need some more homework? Check this out. Read Psalm 139. Check it out, Psalm 139. I want to read it out of the NIV because it's just so good. Psalm 139, specifically verses 13 and 14. And in the NIV, they say, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." Wow. David writes this psalm, and he's talking about how well God knows him. He designed him. He made him. And not just David. Me, you are a unique creation of God, and God knows you so thoroughly. David says there's not a thought that you can have, a word that you can say, that God's not already aware of it. And at first you go, oh wow, God knows. He does know everything. And that is reassuring because God loves us so much and he knows us so thoroughly. He knows how to take care of us and he knows what's best. And that's why it's so important for me to be in his word, because he knows me that well and he knows what kind of help I'm going to need. Read 139 Psalm. There's only, let me look, there's only 24 verses. It's not a long read. Check it out and read that. David talks in such detail about how well God knows him. So I just want to encourage you. And the stuff that's going on, there's craziness going on all around us, and there's a lot of temptation, a lot of frustration, a lot of things going on around us. And we might go like, well, I don't know how I'm going to stand this. God knows us. He knows what we're going through, and he knows what we can handle and what we can't. And it's reassuring. I want you to know that God created you special, and he knows you, and he's not going to dump more than you can handle with his help. You got to have his help. That's the thing. We got to depend on him. We got to take his help. So this week, let's depend on him. Let's know that God loves us that much. I'm ready to see everybody. I'm ready to get all back together. It's coming close. I think we're getting there. Hope you all have a good week, and take care.